Join with our pledge of allegiance and also national anthem first. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Speaker, please.
Before we bow our heads, thank you, James. Before we bow our heads, I'd like to make you aware of two club members that have had health issues within their families. The first is Bruce McNeil, his wife Angela. Their son has had some health issues recently. We ask that you keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And we also have Les Moreland and his wife, who has had some severe health issues through the weekend, but we think that she's rallied and things are better at this point. It was a heart ablation on that.
She's going to have it this week, but she was on life support for about 3 days.
Life support over the weekend. So please keep the McNeil family and the Moreland family in your prayers. Will you bow your heads with me? Father, we pray that there's more of you in our lives and less of us. Help us each and every day as we try to honor this service organization's motto of service above self in all that we say and all that we do. Thank you for the food, for those who have prepared it for us. Bless it to our bodies, us to your service. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I need Terry Duffy, Charles Blunt. You're thinking, I know.
Good afternoon. How's everybody? Good. Birthdays and anniversaries. Mr. Bill Shealy, January 14th.
Yeah.
How many young are we gonna be?
79.
Let's go. Don Valenza, how are we gonna be?
Old enough.
That's a good answer. Jim Wales, not with us. He was scared that I was gonna ask him, so he didn't come. 65. Let's go. Is he gonna retire? No. Anniversaries: Tim, Shirley, and Debbie, January 23rd. James Etheridge and Alicia, January 25th. What's that gonna be?
Our fifth one.
Your fifth one?
Yeah.
Let's go. Well, congratulations. Thank y'all.
Introduction, yes. All right, we are happy to welcome our guests and visiting Rotarians today. So when I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing until all visitors are recognized? Mr. Josh Waddy, guest of the club. And are there any other visitors or guests that I might have missed today? All right, well, we thank you for visiting with Dothan Rotary today. Mr. Lawrence and Camp Eska. $269 points. Magic number 0492. 0492.
Oh. Here's some that's left. Wait to see if there's another one.
Well, I bought two tickets with the 4 off. So it's either 0492 or 0490. Going out to 0492.
President,
Well, this is 0492.
he's saying he had 2 tickets. And he
I bought
put
2
them on.
tickets, but I tore off both of the ones that were for 91. Disqualified. Work for me. Let's do it. Okay. Oh, close. No cigar.
What you got?
Ace of clubs.
Ace of clubs. Thank you, sir.
Wrong suit.
Let's go ahead, Mr. Walter Hill. Got a big announcement, I think, close announcement.
Close announcement. Hopefully in 2 weeks, when we're back, we'll be celebrating that we reached our United Way goal, right, Charles Button?
Yes, sir. Let's
My
go.
trustees chair. As of this morning, when I just left the office, our campaign, which our goal is $2,929,290. We've raised $2,889,737, 98.65%. It's only 39,553 left to go. And we're doing a huge promotion tomorrow with WTVY. They jumped on board with us last week and we planned this. So for 12 and a half hours tomorrow, they'll be promoting Wiregrass United Way throughout the day. We've got 3 live interviews in the morning on WTY this morning, several at lunch, several in the 6 p.m. news, and then 1 hour throughout the whole day. And so if you have not yet given to United Way, I hope you'll consider there's multiple ways you can give. You can give online, you can give through Venmo, you can email us a pledge, lots of different ways. If you've already given, thank you very much. A lot of our generous, normal volunteers and supporters are all in this room, so I appreciate that. But if you're not giving, I hope you'll help us out tomorrow so we get the goal. And then Troy Fountain will then have to transfer $450,000 from Wiregrass Foundation, which he wants to do when we reach our goal for our 40 agents. Thank you, President.
You raised it like 37,000.
Checkbook ready.
Will you mention Miss America? I mean, I know we got to move on, but I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, if you were in either of our big United Way events on August 1st or our bus tour in September, you met Abby Stocker, who was Miss Alabama, who this past, not yesterday, but Sunday, a week ago, was crowned Miss America in Orlando. So she is busy traveling our country now. She was in New York for a few days. She'll be in DC. She's been named on Monday. She was named the national spokesperson for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, which is her platform and the cause she'll be promoting throughout the year. She'll be in the inauguration on Monday. I'm not saying she'll be on TV. I don't think she'll be that close to the stage. You might not see her if you're watching it, but she'll be there. She's an invited guest, so that's pretty exciting. And in February, we'll be hosting a 3-day event to celebrate her crowning as our 4th Miss America from Alabama in Birmingham. She has finished her junior year at Auburn University. She was a Tiger Fall dancer for 3 years, and yes, she dates Walker Kessler, who is 7'1". That's exactly a foot taller than me. So I have my first picture with him was the night she won, but I'm on the riser on stage at Miss Alabama, and he's on the floor, so he just looks a little bit taller than me, but he got to come. They both have a strong faith, so they said God had a plan in all of this. He plays for the Utah Jazz. They had one game in Orlando where Miss America was held. It was Sunday night. It started 30 minutes before the start of Miss America. So he was in a restaurant sitting beside his coach. You might have seen it. It's gone viral. There's a video out there of him watching and seeing her being crowned Miss America on his phone. Then they did not have a game Monday, which is unusual because the team was headed straight to the airport to fly to the next city. So he got permission from his coach to stay in Orlando. So he took an Uber over to the hotel, and he surprised her and all of us when he walked into the big coronation party after the crowning. She had no idea he was going to be able to stay and be there. So it was pretty exciting. There was a long line. There was not quite as long a line to have a picture made with him as there was to have pictures made with her. I mean, people literally from all over the country, especially the Utah people, were excited they were getting to be one of the Utah Jazz players.
Thank you. Josh Chapman.
Hey everyone, this is announcement 3 of 4 of the nominees for next year's board positions. Just a quick recap. This is week 3, so we won't meet next week due to the holidays. And then the following week, we will all vote on the board seats for next year. So these are the nominees. Our nomination for vice president. When I call your name, please stand. Vice President Jason Rudd. And then the 3 vacant board seats, the 6 nominees there are Troy Fountain, Lynn Miley, Chuck Jackson, Lawrence Johnson, Wes Grant, and Michael Matz. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And I know Les said something earlier before we prayed, but again, think about the families today for Les and his wife, Martha. I know my mother-in-law called me on Thursday night and told me what was going on. I've been trying to pay attention to Facebook, and his son has mentioned things, but keep them in your prayers, and Bruce McNeil and his son Josh. Just a little bump in the prayer when you decide to leave. Give your card and leave today. Mr. John Brannon.
Thank you, President Greg. It is a pleasure to have Jeff Brannon here to speak with us today. I'll get a little bit closer. How's that? It's a privilege to have Jeff Brannon with us today from Flowers Hospital. Before he comes up to speak, I'd like to just say a few things about Jeff. Jeff Brannon joined Flowers Hospital as the Chief Executive Officer in 2020, with more than 35 years of experience in the healthcare administration. In this role, Jeff is responsible for the strategic and operational oversight of Flowers Hospital, Flowers Medical Group. Prior to his current position, Jeff served as CEO of the Wiregrass Medical Center and Nursing Home in Geneva, Alabama. He was the CEO of Monroe County Hospital in Monroeville, Alabama, and CEO of Medical Center Enterprise located in Brannon. Prior to his positions as CEO, Jeff worked as the Vice President of Clinical Services at Flowers Hospital for 13 years, where he oversaw multiple clinical and ancillary departments at the hospital. He also worked as the nurse manager for the hospital's cardiovascular intensive care unit, where he collaborated with cardiovascular surgeon Dr. Plans in development of the hospital's cardiovascular surgical services program. Jeff earned his nursing degree from the local Wallace Community College, and his undergraduate degree is in business administration from Florida University. He was named Wallace Community College Alumnus of the Year in 2011. In 2016, he received the Alabama Hospital Association's Distinguished Service Award, the Alabama Healthcare Improvement Task Force. Let me say that again. He received the Alabama Hospital Association's Distinguished Service Award and has been a member of the association's executive committee. He has also served as a member of the Alabama Healthcare Improvement Task Force and Rehabilitation Review Committee 2014 and 2016, respectively, under former Alabama Governor Robert Bentley's administration. Currently, Jeff serves on many different boards. He serves as an American Hospital Association Regional Policy Board Delegate. He's on the Wilds College Foundation Board, Chairman of the Alaha Workforce Task Force, Vice Chairman of the Alabama Governor Kay Ivey's Healthcare Workforce Task Force, member of the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and past Chairman for Alaha Board of Trustees, 2010 to 2011. Please help me welcome Jeff Brannon.
Make sure I don't fall down. With my bad hip and all. Thank you for that introduction. I will say this, I've got one of my board members, Dr. Linda Young is here today, and she knows that, Mark Butch is a member of the Alaha Board. That's short for Alabama Hospital Association, but, they know that, this is never gonna be about me, all right? So, this presentation is not about me. I told the team today I get a chance to brag on the things that they do each and every day in our hospital, because they're the real heroes today. The ones that are delivering care at the bedside, the doctors that showed up today to perform surgeries and heart caths and things of that nature, so that we can take great care of our community, which is one of our ambitions, one of our goals as the hospital, is to help people get well and live healthier. And again, for those that are undergoing challenges, for those that you mentioned today, I know those folks personally as well, and certainly they'll be in my thoughts and prayers. So we certainly want to make sure that we take care of our community. That's what Flowers Hospital is here to do. So again, I've already said our ambition and purpose is to help people get well and live healthier. So what are we doing about that to do that? I'll get into some of that as I share with you, but we'll give a quick overview of the hospital. Obviously, many of you know that hospital was founded in 1950. In December of 1950, we will celebrate 75 years of existence this December. You'll be seeing some things that will be coming out about that, but Dr. Paul and Miss Grace were visionaries when they came back to Dothan. Obviously, Dr. Paul had gone off to train, be an OBGYN surgeon, came back to Dothan. Many people may not know this. There were two hospitals that existed at that point in time. Fraser Ellis Hospital is now the extended care location. And then the Moody Hospital were here. And something that, since I'm going to talk about workforce a little bit, something you would never have imagined today existed then. They had closed medical staffs. In other words, didn't have any room for anybody else to be on the medical staff at either one of those hospitals. Right now, we have 370 plus members on our medical staff, and growing each and every day. But so since he didn't have a place to practice his craft, he bought a house, and many of you may know the history there, but he bought the Glenberg House, which used to sit downtown as you pass Flowers. If you were facing it, it would be on your left. If you're in the hospital, it would be on your right. 12-bed home. He and Miss Grace set up shop there, and really the rest is history from that standpoint. And probably in the early 80s, went out where we are currently, bought 70 acres of land. Probably was one of the smartest things that he ever did, because if he hadn't done that, we were landlocked and we probably couldn't grow anymore. By the time this started happening, we already had specialty medicine coming to Dothan. A lot of different doctors were coming here, had a medical staff of about 55 or 60, and knew that we needed to move to another location. So 15.5 acres of that 70 that he bought out on 84 is where the hospital and the doctor center sits properly today. And thank God for him and his vision to do that, because we've been growing and thriving since we moved out that way. Like I said, 370 plus members of the medical staff, multi-specialty employed provider network. We employ 58 physicians currently. Most recent acquisition of a physician practice is Wiregrass Surgery Associates, which is Steve Finley, Brad Marker, Emily Cannon, and Burton Pfeiffer. Do I want to employ physicians? The answer to that is no. But that's kind of the way things are going in healthcare today, is the new generation that doesn't want to run a business. They don't want to have the headache of having to run a practice. So, that's pretty much where things are moving to from an employment perspective. You can see the pictures of where we started, where things have ended up being, out on 94. 320 plus residents that we serve in the Wiregrass, that could be higher. I've said as high as 500,000 people, because it appears to me that, a lot of hospitals in Alabama are experiencing staffing opportunities. Many of them are on diversion every day. We get calls from all over the state and even out of state, because we are what we consider to be a tertiary transfer center. And proud to say that last year, we accepted over 3,500 transfers into our hospital from the region. Some of those as far away as Sylacauga, Alabama. And, you think about where Sylacauga is placed versus where Dothan is, and you think to yourself, well, why did that go to Birmingham if it was something that needed specialty care? Somebody's calling, they just going to wait. Why did they come to Dothan? Because many emergency departments around the state are being overwhelmed. Ours is one of them. We're not unique to that as well, but my commitment to this community and my commitment to patients has always been that we're going to be open for business. My first night back, July 6th of 2020, y'all may remember 2020, we were right in the middle of the start of the second wave of the pandemic. About 7 o'clock that night, I had two of my colleagues come to my door and say, Jeff, we need to go on diversion. And I said, guys, that word doesn't work with me. And they said, well, can we call it something else? I said, well, what do you want to call it? They said, well, can we call ER saturation? So that sounds a little better, but I said, we're still not going to put us on red and people are going to have to go somewhere else. We'll figure it out. And I think that's, from a leadership perspective, that's one of the things that we're committed to is we will figure it out. I believe that's what we're supposed to do. That it was instilled in me a long time ago by John Edge, Keith Granger, and others who have led our organization, that we're going to figure out how to take care of our community. That being said, we had 9 patients holding in our ER this morning when I got to work. We've had as many as 15, 16. Our sister hospital in Birmingham, Grandview, had 39 patients holding in their ER. And you may be thinking, well, what are you telling me, Jeff? What I'm telling you is that America's hospitals and Alabama's hospitals are not, you don't get a pass on that. We are experiencing severe staffing shortages. I have a bed upstairs that I could have put one of those 9 patients in. The problem is I don't have a nurse that can take care of that patient. My biggest floor is a 33-bed med-surg floor. Barring call-ins and other things that may happen, we don't have set ratios of how we take care of patients, but we want things to be safely done. So just do the math. If I have 5 nurses on 6 North at night, then I can take care of 30 patients by not going past 6 patients each for them. Most of us strive to do that each and every day, is to staff our hospitals safely. So the question you're going to ask is, well, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about the staffing opportunities that you have? Well, let me just say this, being a proud alumnus of Wallace College, they can't handle everything that would as much as they would like to, and Troy would like to. They are our workforce partners, and will always be our workforce partners. But in order to get more people in and out, we've got to think outside the box. So one of the things that we did, and I said Dr. Young is on my board, so we talked about this before we ever pulled the trigger on this. We've just completed 1 year of Jersey College of Nursing at Flowers Hospital. Jersey College is obviously based out of New Jersey. They have campuses all over the United States where it's a public-private or private private partnership, where that we can potentially add to the workforce and grow our own. Right now, we have 120 students enrolled in our program. We just started our fourth cohort. We've taken 30 students each time. And our goal with that is not to try to take over creating our own workforce, but it's just an augmentation to the park. We're trying to get there faster. Certainly, we're going to continue to be strong proponents of our relationship with Wallace and the Troy main campus in Troy Dothan. We also are not just stopping there as well. We're down in the Panhandle with Chipola. Nebraska State Community College started its nursing program a year and a half ago, 2 years ago for the PM program. And they will actually this cycle bring on an associate degree program as well. So we also, the Alabama Board of Nursing has been very strong. We're very fortunate to have an executive director, Peggy Benson, who, by the way, has more credentials after her name than I could name. But she started her healthcare career as a unit secretary in a 90-bed ER at Caraway Medical Center in Birmingham. So she knows the things that we have to do to try to augment our staffing opportunities. So about 2 years ago, the legislature approved and she got passed what's called the Student Nurse Apprentice Program. The Career Center that's right over here is part of all of these things that we're doing with apprenticeships. Proud to say that Flowers has 37 apprentice nurses that are currently on our staff. And what's happening with that program is that they are assigned what's called a journey worker, which is one of my employees who has experience and has the willingness and desire to invest in that student nurse apprentice. And they are on their hip, they're on their side, wherever they are in the day that they work that shift. We're pouring into them things that they need to learn along their career path. What does that do for me? Well, we've had 9 apprentices prior to this last class, which we had about 16, and they were in orientation this morning. What ends up happening is I can spend 8 to 12 weeks in orientation post-graduation. What's happening with the apprentice program is one nurse started to work on her shift 3 days after without orientation. So I'm paying for it. These people get paid, okay, while they work, paying for it up front so that I'm minimizing my cost on the backside of things. In-house surgical tech program, we graduated 9 in November. We graduated 6 prior to that class. It's a 6-month internal program. Things that we're trying to do to grow our workforce there. We just started a class last week, and we've got 11 students that are enrolled in that program as well. We're very proud that this year, in June of this year, in the fall of last year, we received accreditation for an internal medicine residency program to start at Flowers by the American College of Graduate Medical Education. So we'll have 13 students, 13 residents that will start in July of this year that will be on site and rotating through Flowers Hospital with our faculty, similar to what others have done, like at UAB, University of South Alabama, BCom, ACOM, all of those programs. So we've been, I guess, over the 4.5 years that I've been back, if you can't tell, workforces, I'm pretty passionate about it, is we've got to fix this. And one way to do that is through the programs that I've just referenced. Some highlights and accomplishments that we've had most recently, very proud of our score of A for Leapfrog. We've had 4, we've had 2, it's a 6-month cycle. We've had 4 cycles of being able to maintain an A from a safety grade perspective. We're very proud of that. We are the only hospital in the Wiregrass that's an A, and in comparison, UAB is a D. So we're very proud of what our staff has accomplished there. We've experienced 35% cardiac service line growth in 2024. We expect that to continue. You may ask me, well, how did you achieve that? We were able to, Cardiology Associates was able to recruit a full-time electrophysiologist, Dr. Brannon. Has been a delightful addition to that group and to our organization. People who were having to travel for cardiac ablations and other type procedures, we can now perform those at Flowers, and that has been a really big program as well for us. We just brought online a brand new hybrid lab in the cath lab that will allow him and other cardiologists to do more work than they were able to do previously. We've also had about 17% growth in orthopedic service line. Outside of those doctors that work with Southern Bone and Joint that practice at both hospitals and the surgery center here in Dothan, they probably do 70% of their business with us. And you say, well, why is that important? Again, it's a very active need in our community. People are living longer, needing joint replacement surgery. That group continues to be able to recruit very effectively. We want to be able to help them do that as we would other groups. Just mentioned the hybrid lab. There's a $2.5 million investment. We also needed, as we had service line growth in orthopedics, we've added $1.7 million in orthopedic trays and drills, and you probably don't want to know all those things, but at the end of the day, it was necessary to be able to continue that growth. We have 4 robots that we do general and other type surgeries with. We celebrated 10,000 robotic surgeries in the fall of last year. Very proud of that program and continue to want to see it continue to grow. Just want to share with you about our community impact. Again, we're very proud that we are a tax-paying facility. We believe very strongly in reinvesting in our community. The taxes that we paid in the 2024 just completed, so I don't have that, so this is 2023. Toward $11 million, almost $12 million in taxes paid. So the overall impact for Flowers Hospital in this community is roughly $285 million. I believe that that's something that we're very proud of and want to continue to be a very strong component of creating opportunities, reinvesting in our people, reinvesting in our plant, reinvesting in the recruitment and retention of workforce, that being all of our allied and support staff, as well as physicians. Something, again, that we're very proud of. This past year, we recruited 4 new primary care doctors to our staff. We helped Southern Bone and Joint recruit 2 orthopedic surgeons, Corey Smith and Dr. Shay Taylor. We mentioned Dr. Brannon came on in January of last year. Dr. Chris Ike also came on in the fall of the prior year. And I think for us, again, our goals and aspirations are to continue to be a very safe, quality outcome hospital. We want to be the best that we can possibly be in all of the services that we provide. And we want to be that not only today, but for the future as we continue to serve our community. Chris, you said leave 20 minutes. I almost did. So I'll be happy to take any questions that you might have. In the back, and then I'll come back to you, Mr. Shealy. Yeah, first off, thanks for all you do for the community and the community-minded person. We're grateful for that. As you look out, other than staffing, which I know is a challenge, pretty widely known, like if you get a chance to breathe, what's next for Flowers? What's the next big thing you guys are showing? Well, we got everybody that stays in business. You got to have consistent growth over time. I think for us, it's probably getting into some imaging capacity capability that we actually are looking at right now. So potentially people don't have to come into the maze of the hospital. So that would be one. We haven't been in the outpatient imaging or outpatient surgery center type thing. Both of those
things would require a certificate need to be done, but those are probably two things that we're considering and needing to do. Mr. Shealy?
I just want to make a statement. Dr. Flowers was practicing at Movie Hospital before he and Miss Grace started their hospital. And 79 years ago tomorrow, he delivered me.
Well, that's pretty good.
Another question? Come right here, now I'm gonna be Margaret.
Besides the staffing issue, what's y'all's biggest challenge y'all face?
That's really the biggest challenge we do face. There's no question that obviously reimbursement for services that we provide are always going to be a challenge. You know, if you watch the national news and you watch healthcare, if you read about healthcare, you know, we're the only business that doesn't get paid what you charge. Now, again, you say, well, the charge is out of whack, but at the end of the day with that, certainly staying engaged on reimbursement opportunities is going to be a big deal for every hospital in America. I would say again, let me just say this, probably sitting in the room, you know, we're very fortunate to have Representative Paul Lee. He chairs our healthcare committee for the legislature. Paul is an advocate for every aspect of healthcare, and has done well in that role, and we're going to continue to work with him. And our delegation has been solid in our corner for things that help the Wiregrass, not just the Wiregrass, but the state in general. So certainly reimbursement funding. You're going to see again either hospitals shrink in size and scope in Alabama and around the country if something's not done about, you know, being able to keep physicians in small rural markets. You know, I was in Monroe for 4 years. My first day there, I was approached by one of our board members about shutting the OB program down. And I said, I can't sleep at night with young mom, expecting moms having no choice but to drive 105 miles north to Montgomery or drive 85 miles south to Mobile. Well, since that time, that program has closed. It closed in November of last year. You're going to see more and more of that, either because there's not enough funding or there's not enough manpower to be able to keep those programs open. But we're going to work with, you know, what we have to work with, and we're very fortunate, like I said, to have Representative Lee being our leader in health committee standpoint. Margaret?
So I just have a comment, Jeff. So I am really proud to serve as your colleague, and I get to witness up close every day your passion and your dedication to the healthcare in our community and the state, and we're really lucky to have you.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thank you for those kind words. Representative Lee?
Thank you for your comments. Alabama, the whole country is in a challenge right now with healthcare, and the majority of that is cost reimbursement. If you could, I kind of let everyone know how many hospitals we've actually had closed, or that has closed, not on their dealings, but have closed in the last 8 to 10 years. And another question, tell me your thoughts on the need for the board to decide if you can get a MRI or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, so these are the ones that I know of.
That's something we need to move past. I don't know. Or is it antiquated? We need to move past it in a certain area. The certificate of need.
Yeah, well, I think that it's certainly, I mean, let me ask you personally, then that was the number of hospitals that have closed, or those that I've met with. So Greene County Hospital in Utah closed. It's got an ER similar, maybe now it closed. It was one of the first ones to close. Thomasville Hospital was closed. It reopened, and it's now closed again. That's over on the west, both those on the west side of Alabama, one north, one in the southwest corner. two hospitals in our market that I consider our market. Wiregrass Medical Center Geneva, where I was for 3 years, they are pending, they're waiting on their certification to become a critical access hospital, which from a federal reimbursement perspective kind of guarantees them some funding that they currently do not have. And then Medical Center Barber in Eufaula has also applied for, and I think both of those are going to receive their accreditation as critical access hospital. I know that opens up a whole other can of worms. Be real quick on that one. Critical access hospital means that you can't have inpatient care. You got to be limited to 25 beds. You can't have inpatient care longer than 96 hours. And they've got to be able to be transferred out. We already have transfer agreements with both of those hospitals that are ready to be able to help them. Will that keep them open by making that move? It certainly buys them more time. They're good operators at both of those hospitals. They probably would not have considered doing those things if they didn't think it could keep their doors open longer. There's another piece of the pie that I think has the potential that was passed in Alabama 3 or 4 years ago, and that is what's called basically an emergency hospital, which means you can have some inpatient care, but you basically become a strong emergency department. And for a lot of the rural areas, that probably makes a lot of sense. And then getting back to the certificate of need, I mean, Paul, I've been doing this for 35 plus in leadership. There are days when you say you want it to go away, but then there are days when you say it was probably good that it was in place. I know in certain other states they've had, you got a hospital on one corner that's struggling, and you go put up another hospital because somebody's got the capital across the street. And that again, we don't mind competition, but is that the right thing to do in those states? I think there are challenges there with that. So I'd say I would probably lean right now on that certificate of need has been good. I'd be a proponent to keep it. There are ways that rural hospitals, and by the way, of the 110 members of the Hospital Association in Alabama, about 55% of those, 55 of those, half of those, maybe a little more, are considered rural status. The rural status allows you to do some things with the certificate, without a certificate of need. For example, if you are under a threshold of $2.5 million in capital expenditures, and if somebody needed to put in an MRI, make a space for that, you probably could do that under that threshold. All you have to do is ask for permission to do it, and nobody challenges that. It's called a letter of non-reviewability, and we did that when I was in Monroeville. We did that when I was in Geneva. We need, I would say again, in Alabama needs rural hospitals to stay open, because I'm going to go back to the pandemic. I mean, we were overrun by people that needed our help, our expertise. If we not had the rural hospitals in a 50-mile radius of Dothan, Alabama, who were able to keep their doors open and take care of what they had taken care of, you would have seen a mass unit somewhere on both campuses of Southeast Health and Flowers Hospital, and maybe even in your parking lot, because we would have been able to take care of it. So, for me, every day, my prayers are, God bless all of those people that are in healthcare and help them to be successful in taking care of their fellow man. I mean, again, the Rotary service above self is where my staff will tell you every day, that's what I believe in. That's what I teach. That's what I strive to live. And I will tell you, I believe long-term, we're going to need more of that in healthcare. It's got to be, I'm willing to sacrifice for the betterment of those who need my services. That's why I say we're not going on diversion. We'll figure it out. You may be in a bed in the hallway. You may have a 60-hour wait in the ER waiting on a bed upstairs. I'm telling you, that 90%, according to Becker's, which is a healthcare think tank, 90% of America's hospitals have someone waiting for a bed in their emergency department. Not waiting to be transferred, waiting for a bed in their own facility. And it comes back to one key point, that's staffing. So we gotta fix our staffing problems, and I'm committed to do that. Any more questions?
Thank you, Jim. That was great. Hey, Cal, can you say something real quick about Rob? Sure. I meant to have this stump my toe.
All right, we got Raleigh coming up. The application deadline is February 1st. That is the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. Great long weekend program up at the campus of Canvasca, Jackson Gap. Speakers, obstacle course, leadership training, good networking with a lot of people from Arkansas State. Great opportunity. What's great on the resume. If you have any juniors or sophomores or know anybody who'd be interested that's junior or sophomore age in high school, let me know. And I'll get them plugged in. Thanks.
And we pay for it, so it's, I think it's March, February 27th to March 2nd, but I'll send out an email this week, I'll give you dates and then we can get an application. Again, thank you, Jeff. We do not meet next week. Do not meet Monday, so we meet the following, Monday, board meeting today. Hey, board members, raise your hand. I dig it, you have a full room. All right, if we can, let's stand for, before we do. Other things
Say,
and do.
is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all officers?
God bless you. Have a great day.